Nice to have you with us, punters, as we get underway with another edition of Getting the Jump. Gerard Middleton isn't here, so a slightly reduced version in the seats. How are you?
Good, Ben. Good to be with you again. Nice to have you aboard.
Of course, Marc Ohlmus will be looking after all of our selections, hopefully steering us into a few runners that are either over the odds, under the odds, just horses to avoid, maybe some that we need to jump on now, and we'll get through them over the course of the next few minutes. But let's start off with our key races that we're having a look at. So the Aeromine Handicap, which interestingly enough, there are a couple of runners in this race that went around in this race last year, but last year it was 1800 at Rose Hill. Now we're 2000 Randwick.
Which makes more sense, Ben, in terms of the history of
Aeromine. I guess so,
yeah.
Had a good win. I think it was the Group 1 three-peat over the course of an autumn, finishing in a Queen Elizabeth over 2000. So you're right, it probably is a bit more fitting, but Rose Hill, there are a few more wins for Aeromine there. So much of a muchness.
Indeed. Looking forward to the program. We've also got the Queensland Cup there as well. Here for the Aeromine, Ben. Look, there's this really, really smart horse called Attorney, and they have not missed it. What was the price that opened up at? $340?
Yeah, something similar. It's pretty much $220.
$220 it's into. Wow. Look, and you know, there was a price there early doors for a really progressive type of staying style of galloper that OTI get from overseas. He'll be hard to beat just on everything that we've seen, but white boots right down the bottom there with a cheeky inside draw. Might be able to run a sneaky race. Runs this season behind So You Win, He Excels, Woo Gok. Haven't been too bad. Even went around behind Girl Tuesday and Grey Line, that Lord Mayor's Cup. So just at $7, just looking for something at a bit of an each way price. If you want to go around the favourite, it'll probably be hard to beat, but he is now under the odds. Yeah, so long story short, the favourite probably was over the odds. Yeah,
That's been snapped up now, and we're looking for other options.
Our punters aren't stupid, Ben.
No, they're not. Jeez, they hit that one the second it opened up. Let's have a look, as you said, the Queensland Cup. So this will be race 7 on the card up there at Eagle Farm over the 3,200. A horse that was with the Snowdens at that point. Plot Twist took it out last year.
Saunter Boy I've gone with here, Ben. Tab number 4. This is a French-bred galloper having its first preparation in Australia. Look by my boy Charlie in the right hands of Chris Lees. Gets the blinkers on first time, 2 miles. There are a lot of ticks here, Ben, so we'll make it the play at around about the $8.50 mark. No real knocks on the favourite here, Azuro and Yogi. I thought Azuro may be a little bit under the odds, but we'll touch on that later. Number 4, Saunter Boy, overs for the Queensland Cup.
Yeah, we've seen the Murray Eustace stable. They're pretty keen to travel their horses, aren't they? They've had success across New South Wales, heading up to Queensland, across the bulk of the carnival.
Well, now they've got the base in Warwick Farm. It makes it much easier for them, and they do a great job at their Warwick Farm base. They're churning out winners left, right and centre. Yeah,
I think up until the last week maybe of the Winter Carnival up there in Queensland, they were pretty much leading all trainers bar one when it came to prize money won. So they've been flying. All right, now we can have a look at overs and unders. So essentially this is where we pick out 4 runners, 4 or 5. This week we've got 4. We'll go through 4 runners. You can tell us whether you think they're over or under the odds and maybe whether we should be avoiding them. We'll start off with race 1 at Randwick, which I think is where plenty of our punters will start their betting day. And we'll discuss Excellent Proposal. So Brenton Abdallah in the saddle.
Yeah, I thought it was an overs play, Ben. I didn't really want to pop the favourite Mandela, which is already about even money. It opened up. Had a really smart horse for China Horse Club and Peter and Paul Snowden. This galloper, nobody missed it last start at Canterbury. It had exceeded the stars in its sights before, just going left-handed. Wanted to have a drink with a few of the punters.
Helmet-like behaviour.
Exactly right. Wanted to have a drink with a few of the punters there, but missed out by a nose. It's since trialled, and it's trialled up like a bomb. Obviously, it's race fit though, so $2 whether you want to take that price. Obviously a smart horse, obviously a future, but Excellent Proposal. Love the way this horse won. Kimblet Grange, it wasn't a heavy track. We were watching the replay. By Exceeding Excel, he didn't really handle the going. Very heavy going on that occasion. But then when the 2 came to challenge him with about 200 to go, he just fought and he found plenty more. Obviously learning his craft, having start number 2, nominated for a Golden Rose. We'll see if he gets that far, but at $9 worth of play.
One thing that I loved about that Mandela trial, they kept it inside of horses, which I thought, well, we're not seeing whether he's managed to remedy the situation on what we saw on race day. But then once he got clear, the final 100 or so, Timmy Clark just gave a couple with the left. And the issue in that race seemed to be when Tommy Berry switched from right to left and the horse didn't like it, and he seemed to handle it a lot better in the trial. So that is...
And if anybody can fix that up, it's the Snowdens.
100%. I'm surprised it's taken them one race to do it. They're that elite. Let's have a look at Denawi here. 1.5 kilo claim for Weatherly.
Yes, indeed. This one, we made an overs play last week. Scratch for that for this. Comes to a good track, a firmer surface. Check the stewards report for its first up run there at Rosehill. We mentioned all this last week. Since had a trial, just goes around at $17 here. Obviously, the Enzo will be Sir Elton. The Enzo are there, but Sir Elton will be very hard to beat. Even money already into $1.90. Denawi is always one of those horses that you have to have something on, and it's $17. This is definitely one of those occasions.
Okay, perfect. Let's have a look at race 4 there at Morphettville. We have a horse called Killer Valley.
Yes, was very impressive at Ballarat on the synthetic. Ran away with the race. Ballarat synthetic form, heading to a benchmark 70 here at Adelaide, just at the price of $1.75. Look, it's an 8-length victory, but it's on a surface that's very much unknown and in its infancy in terms of form and gathering form. There's Cafe Tortoni, a horse for Patrick Payne in the famous tape colours. Really impressive at sale. It was a class 1, but I like it as a horse to win this race, but we'll make Killer Valley the unders play there. $1.75, too short bet.
It's so often the case too. Those hit and run missions are quite often profitable when you see horses going down to South Australia, but also the other spin is they can be underrated.
Absolutely. And because
those horses in Adelaide aren't too bad.
And that's why it's kind of like midweek racing in Victoria, which is why the Victorian trainers go there. So $1.75, we'll let it go by.
I won't tell my South Australian friends it's like midweek racing in Victoria, but that's okay. My preferred option is horse with decent form in Adelaide making a trip to Melbourne. That's where I think you generally find the overs. But so we've had a look at Killer Valley. Let's discuss Azuro here, Eagle Farm, race 7.
Yeah, $2.90. I thought it was an unders play, just one of those races where 2 miles you can often see a fair bit happen. Azuro was the winner last start in that Stayers Cup over 2 mile. It was an okay effort. Matt McGilvray gets a nice draw. Just think 290 is a bit short. We can find something outside of it, like we mentioned, Saunter Boy.
It reeks of a stable, mate, beating it or something similar.
Yeah, Yogi, of course, goes around in that race.
We'll discuss that in a tick, maybe. All right, now for toting around, we have a look at some of the projected pools. On this occasion, we have 100,000, the projected pool for the Randwick Big Six, and I reckon a lot of punters will be keen to have a crack at this Big Six. So they don't need to use this as a lock from you. It is a Big Six. They're hard to get.
It's a guide.
It's a guide.
That's right. 2x2 by 3 by 3 by 4 by 4. We've gone wide the last couple there, including Velocita, who ran a nice race for us a fortnight ago. So good luck. Do your best there, because as we know, if you land a Big Six, it can be quite profitable.
Now they certainly can. Have you ever got a decent one?
Not in a long time, Ben.
Yeah,
not in a long time.
Yeah, I've had a couple.
I reckon I got one at Moonee Valley Cox Plate Day when American won the 2,500 metre race, but a long time ago.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time between drinks for me as well. But I've had a couple of sickening blows in the meantime, like last leggers, or actually more common is out first leg.
Now you're starting to sound like Gerard.
Yeah, okay.
Now you're starting to sound like Gerard. All these sad tales of the
but you know it's more than $5 bet from me, so it is a little bit different. Let's discuss the early arrival, and this is pretty much, we build to the crescendo over the course of the past few minutes to... It's not necessarily the best bet, is it? It's just the bet that you think, I can't ignore that price.
Best overs play. That's it. That's exactly right, Ben. Gone with Costello, race 6 at Randwick. I just think this horse is second up. He's second up over 1,800 metres by American. I think the stock take a little bit of time. He's rising 4 now. He's 2 from 2 when second up. And getting back to a firm track, I didn't mind his run behind Attention Run last start, which was a fortnight ago. I thought it was good. I thought it was handy. And I just think of an inside draw with a soft run, $15, we can have a bet there.
All right, I've actually gone a little bit rogue here.
Here we go.
Venturing off to, and as you know, I like to get pretty rogue.
Here we go.
But Coral, a form for a Flemington straight 6.
Here we go.
Might be a little bit questionable, but the Doctor's Son is a horse with a heap of promise. Only had about 5 or 6 race starts. It's going to give away a lot of experience to a few of these, but I reckon it's the horse with upside.
And what we have to say is go back and watch the replay of last start.
Oh, go back and watch it. Admittedly, it did open up along the rail, ended up only having to run around the leader, but did it so easily to the line. Blake McDougall's going to be riding, and I'm really keen to see just how the market treats this horse, because there are some probably better credentialed horses in it, but that might be our
look for here, Ben.
Exactly right.
I'm getting the jump. Right. That's exactly what
we
look for.
The Doctor's Son. I might need some medicinal help if this all goes awry. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Ben.
Good luck.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a nice little cameo. I've enjoyed it. Just shows me how little Gerard does. 7 minutes work. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. I won't. He will. Gerard will be back.